Well, it's a mixed reactions. Thailand has always been deeply divided politically since the coup, which was led by Prayuth back in May 2014. So an immediate reactions on both sides, jubilations amongst the supporters of Prayuth, but the angry crowd gathered at least two spots in Bangkok minutes after the ruling were handed out.
Now, the decision paves the way for Prime Minister Prayuth to his 5-week suspension to be lifted. What will that involve, and what's likely to be his next move?
Within minutes of the ruling, Prayuth has posted on his personal or official Facebook page, talking about the need for Thailand to push for more infrastructural projects. And he promised that he would bring Thailand towards a new golden era of progress. And that's a clear indicator that Prayuth is not going to go away quietly, that he will probably try to push the government to invest more in infrastructures. And that's going to be, we're talking about big money here.
Mm-hmm. There were so many attempts to unseat him. There were 4 House censure motions, there was a conflict of interest case, and there were major protests on the street. Have all avenues been exhausted by his critics at this point? Can they do anything else other than just go to the polls?
You're right. I think there's little other venues left. I mean, the street protest will continue tomorrow. It is happening as it is, but because the House of Representatives will complete its term in March next year, so even the opposition parties are now more keen towards competing in the upcoming general elections. And that means the protesters may not have the kind of support they would rather expect from the opposition parties because the election is near. It could come as early as May next year, or even earlier if Prayuth decides to dissolve the House later this year.
Mm-hmm. As you say, the next election is supposed to be held before May next year, but what are the Prime Minister's re-election chances, given that his popularity remains so low?
Indeed, the next few weeks and few months will be a testing time for Prayuth. I think you will expect to see him to try to make, a comeback, but that's really unpredictable at the moment, particularly given that the court had ruled today that even if he could stay on, it would be only until April 2025, which means he's more or less has just half a term if he even returns as a prime minister after the elections.
Now let's look at the opposition parties here. Do you believe that they're presenting enough of a case to be elected themselves?
A lot will have to do with the economic policy. We are seeing more. The opposition party have said they will unveil more economic policy platforms in the coming weeks. That will be crucial, but again, it's also about Prayuth, or whether you would support the current government coalition which supports Prayuth or not. But the economy indeed will be another major factor in deciding the future of the elections.
Now, if the Prime Minister is in fact voted out, is he likely to accept the result, or are we likely to see even more unrest?
Probably he will accept the result. I mean, he has been in power for 8 years, and there's a sense that even those who are on the same camp with Prayuth feel that perhaps it's time to get someone fresher, who was not directly tainted by the military coup in which it was led by Prayuth, to, take turns. And we've been seeing people like the public health minister who have pushed for the decriminalizations of marijuana, presenting himself as an alternative to Prayuth, and is a member of the coalition government.
Pravit Rojanaphruk, we really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us. Thank you.
Pleasure.